Most people think the history of economic thought began in an 18th century London coffeehouse or with the publication of Adam Smith's The Wealth of Nations. We are taught to jump straight from the basic logic of the ancients to the Industrial Revolution, as if the 1,000 years in between were a total intellectual blackout. But there is a quieter, more profound truth hiding in the heart of the medieval world, a truth that Western history rarely puts on the syllabus. Nearly a millennium ago, a North African scholar issued a warning that still vibrates through every modern financial collapse. He argued that when money loses its moral anchor, a society doesn't just go bankrupt, it rots from the inside out. Looking at the world today, it seems this medieval philosopher understood our modern glitches better than we do. Welcome to the Hidden Ledger, where we declassify the intersection of money, power, and history. Nothing is ever as simple as it looks on the surface. The mainframe of 1332. Chaos as a laboratory. To understand Ibn Khaldun, you have to look past the Dark Ages myth. While Europe was fragmented and struggling through the wreckage of feudalism, the Islamic world was the global mainframe. From the schools of Baghdad to the markets of Cairo and Tunis, this was a civilization pulsing with wealth, sophistication, and trade. Silk, spices, and silver moved through these routes like data packets in a fiber optic cable. But with this explosion of wealth came a familiar problem, the cycle of decay. In 1332, Ibn Khaldun was born into this world of intense instability. He wasn't just a theorist, he was a man of action. He served as a judge, a diplomat, and a high-ranking advisor to sultans. He watched firsthand as governments mismanaged gold, overtaxed their citizens, and acted shocked when the system unraveled. His masterpiece, the Muqaddimah, wasn't written for an academic circle. It was a forensic report on why empires die. He realized that regardless of religion or geography, the arc of power was always the same. Discipline leads to success. Success leads to comfort. Comfort leads to decadence. And decadence leads to the end. Asabiyyah. The invisible logic of trust. At the heart of Ibn Khaldun's thinking is a concept he called Asabiyyah. Translated loosely, it means social cohesion, but in the language of the Hidden Ledger, it is the source code of the economy, trust, the foundation. When Asabiyyah is strong, a society is productive. Why? Because people trust each other, they cooperate, they take risks, and they invest in long-term goals. Wealth follows naturally, not because they are lucky, but because their social structure allows productivity to flourish. The glitch of success, Khaldun noticed that success itself is the greatest threat to Asabiyyah. As wealth accumulates, the elites grow distant from the hard work that created that wealth. They become insulated by luxury. The extraction phase. Eventually, the state stops being a protector of the economy and starts being a consumer of it. Bureaucracies expand, and military and administrative positions become inherited rather than earned. This isn't just a moral failure, it's a systemic one. Innovation slows, and the desire to extract value replaces the desire to create it. The tax trap. Centuries before the Laffer Curve. Ibn Khaldun's most famous insight is about the relationship between taxes and productivity. He described a cycle that modern macroeconomics still struggles to manage. The early state. In the beginning, taxes are low, but the revenue is high. Why? Because low taxes encourage people to work, trade, and invest. The economic base expands so much that the government gets plenty of money even with a small percentage. The bloated state. As the state ages and its appetites grow, it needs more gold for its courts and bureaucracies. It raises taxes. At first it works, but eventually the burden becomes too heavy. The death spiral high, taxes discourage effort. People work less, hide their wealth, or leave the market entirely. The tax base shrinks. The state's reaction. It raises taxes even higher to make up for the loss. This is the point of no return. He argued that the state doesn't starve because it taxes too little. It starves because it taxes too much of a shrinking economy. He identified diminishing returns. Centuries before the phrase was ever whispered in a university. The normalization of corruption. For Ibn Khaldun, corruption isn't a bug. It's a feature of a decaying system. It doesn't start with a criminal conspiracy, it begins as normalization. As a state matures, luxury becomes a right. Public funds are diverted to preserve the status of the elite rather than the productivity of the nation. The system doesn't feel broken to those inside, it feels entitled. To maintain this lifestyle, the state borrows, inflates, or coerces. Trust erodes. As cohesion weakens, enforcing the rules becomes more expensive and less effective. The state ends up spending more gold to get fewer results, trapped in a cycle of its own making. Section 5. Why we are still in the 14th century. Modern economies believe they have escaped history through technology and better policy, but Khaldun's logic suggests the cycle has only accelerated. Modern Asabiyyah. Today, social cohesion manifests as trust in central banks, belief in the rule of law, and confidence in the currency. When these elements are strong, markets thrive. Financial engineering. When growth slows, we see extraction replace contribution. Wealth becomes more about positioning yourself within the financial system, speculation, rather than creating real output. This is the modern version of Khaldun's decadent elites drifting away from the productive base. Debt as delayed taxation. Modern states use debt and money printing to defer the costs of their scale into the future, but the arithmetic is unavoidable. When the cost of maintaining the system outweighs the benefits of participating in it, people disengage. They stop innovating, they stop taking risks, and the system becomes brittle. Section 6. Conclusion. Perspective as protection. Ibn Khaldun never promised a way to escape the cycle. He didn't believe wisdom could freeze a system in its prime. His insight was more unsettling. Decline is not a failure of intelligence. It is a consequence of success. But understanding the cycle changes how you interpret the world. You stop mistaking a peak for permanence. You stop confusing the scale of an institution with its stability. Real financial freedom begins when you recognize when the incentives are shifting, even if the headlines haven't caught up yet. Join the hidden ledger. If you want to understand the true source codes of money, the hidden patterns of power, and the historical archives that define our present, you are in the right place. We don't just tell stories here, we analyze the systems that shape our reality. Hit the subscribe button and join the Hidden Ledger family. Financial literacy is more than just reading a chart. It's about seeing the truth behind the system before the rules change. History has the answers. I'm just showing you where to look. Stay sharp, stay informed. I'll see you in the next deep dive.